Yo, what's going on? Welcome to episode 14 of Fpl Hotline. I'm your host, Matt Tomo, joined as always by Tazz, Gasch, and C4. What's up, guys?
Hey.
What's up?
We missed last week's episode. It was Thanksgiving here in the States. C4, what was your excuse for not being able to record last week?
You know, it was a Thursday.
Okay. Didn't want to do the solo show?
I mean, man,
It's
you
a
guys
rainy
disrespect
Thursday.
my Thanksgiving. The real one.
Did we record on your Thanksgiving?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, probably. All right. Well, anyway, hope everybody had a happy Thanksgiving. Let's talk about what happened in last game week. First, we got a 2-0 win for 2-0 win for Newcastle over Crystal Palace. C4, how'd you feel about that one?
Got kind of shocked. You know,
Yeah.
Joelinton came back from the dead, and I expect him to go back into his grave for another month.
No more from him. That's it. One goal and one assist.
He'll get an assist and then, go back for another month.
But the bigger story, probably Callum Wilson with the goal and assist as well. I think. Did you put him into your wildcard team or?
No, at that point, he wasn't a lock for the first 2 game weeks to be healthy. So I went with Watkins instead, and that worked out brilliantly last Monday.
Yeah. Any other thoughts on the Newcastle Palace game? I know it's not exciting to the rest of us, but
there was some stat, and I think it's like Bruce Arena has a lot more wins in the past, I think, 6 months than a lot of pretty high name managers.
Bruce Arena is classic.
Oh,
Wait,
did
you say Bruce Arena instead of fucking Steve Bruce?
Bruce Arena, the worst U.S. national team manager of all time.
Also the best U.S. men's national team manager of all time.
All right, yeah, let's move on.
Yeah.
That was Tazz's roommate. Tazz's roommate came in real quick. All right, so we had a 1-1 draw for Liverpool. Oh, you good, Gash? You got the COVID?
I hope not.
Can I move my blood up one?
Excuse me 1 second, everyone.
Damn.
And I'm good now.
You might actually have the COVID. That does not sound good.
I just realized I have a mute button here too, so next time that happens, you won't be subjected to that.
All right, well, 1-1 for Liverpool. We got a goal from Jota and an assist from Salah on his return back from COVID. Came back a little earlier than some people expected, a little earlier than I expected, for sure. I had Mane in there instead. Did not work out in my favor. But yeah, on the other side for Brighton, Welbeck with an assist, and Neil Maupay missed a penalty. That's love to see him screw up after that whole thing with Arsenal last year. Yeah. So 1-1 for Liverpool, not great. Any thoughts?
I'm glad.
Yeah.
I transferred out all of Liverpool assets, so I mean, that was
You have none right now?
none.
Wow, that's kind of.
I was kind of like you. I expected Salah to be out for longer, and I didn't really. I at the time I was like transferring out Salah, and I was like, who I'd rather have, Mane or Fernandes, and I just chose him.
Yeah, Bruno's been good, but we'll get to him in a minute. Let's go over to the other side of Manchester. Man City with a huge 5-0 win over Burnley. Hat trick for Mahrez and goals for Mendy and Torres as well. 2 assists for De Bruyne, 1 for Walker, 1 for Jesus, and 1 for Foden. Yeah, so Mahrez with the hat trick, is that sustainable? Are we transferring in Mahrez yet? Like, what's?
I think his thing is he does really well against low block teams. It's weird because I saw a stat that it was essentially like against the teams that defend a certain amount, or teams that City have a certain amount of possession against, like at least this much possession, he tends to do a lot better, just because of the way his style of play is. So he likes to have he's playing on the right wing. He likes to have the outside fullback overlapping him a lot, and it kind of takes the defender away, and then he can cut inside onto his left foot and shoot. So I think he benefited a lot from that. I personally don't want he's a good player, but I don't really want him in my team at the moment just due to Pep's rotation and not thinking that it's fully sustainable over a long period. and I don't want to try to predict the games where he's going to be in or play most of the game or whatnot.
Yeah, it definitely seems like it's feast or famine for him. Just going through his totals for this year so far. You got 0, 12, then 2, 3, 2, 3, 0, 2, and then 21 last week. So really unpredictable. He seems to be the biggest victim of Pep's rotation. Well, I don't even know if I would call him that because he doesn't even seem to be in the rotation at most times. And then he pops in and does this. I mean, it's annoying. Yeah. What's his price? 8.3. Yeah. So that puts him in a price range where it's just
CH.
I'd rather have CH. I'd rather have Pulisic. Probably a couple other names I'd rather go for there. But yeah, any other thoughts about the City game? C4, you got your update on Aguero. I know you're always checking in on him. How's he doing?
Yeah, but more importantly, I found the Steve Bruce stat I was talking about.
The Bruce Arena stat?
Zinedine Zidane has lost more games than Steve Bruce this year, or this season.
Wow.
So I'll put that out there.
Zinedine Zidane has probably played, like twice the number of games that Steve Bruce has played this season?
So you're saying Steve Bruce has a higher win percentage?
I guess. Why are you asking me instead of just looking that up?
All right, let's move on to Leeds and Everton. We had a 1-0 lead, 1-0 win for Leeds. Goal from Rafinha, assisted by Harrison. Any thoughts on that game?
Yeah, it's bullshit. I benched Dallas and he got eight points. And he was my first sub, so I was just praying that someone else on my team wouldn't start or wouldn't come on. Oh, actually, because then Nuno decides to not start Kilman, but he comes on for a 12-minute cameo, and Dallas is just there, cock blocked on my bench, and Kilman comes in for a freaking 1-pointer. So that wasn't good.
Why didn't you believe in Dallas? What was your thinking for that?
I just thought they were going to concede and win, 2-1 or 3-2 or something. But I don't know.
Yeah, a lot of the games are high, but they always concede, and you still have faith in him.
Yeah, well, apparently they always concede, except the last 2 weeks I benched him, and he's scored a lot of points. So maybe not always.
So people just got to follow what you do with Dallas, and that determines whether or not he's going to have a good week.
Yeah, exactly.
The opposite.
I'll start tweeting on our Twitter account saying what if I'm going to start Dallas or bench him, just to let you all know.
And then that'll determine. Maybe if you're benching him, I would say throw the captain band on him. Everybody else.
Yeah, maybe.
So Sheffield United took another L, but this time to West Brom, 1-0 again. Goal from Gallagher, unassisted. Any thoughts about that one? I know those are two clubs that we don't pay much attention to fantasy wise, but any thoughts on that one?
Battle of the duds.
Is there any player from those two teams that you would look at that you would consider?
Well, I have Bruce from Sheffield as more of a enabler of my team, but that's about it.
Has he done anything for them yet? No, right?
Oh, he's gotten about 7 points. So you watch your mouth.
that might make him Sheffield's highest scorer this year. Yeah. So.
Oh, he actually got 8 points. I misspoke.
He has a total of 8 points. All right.
Yeah. So still looking like his only value is as an enabler, but we'll see. Something to follow. And as for West Brom, I know Pereira was an option for a bit, but yeah, I wouldn't go anywhere near those two teams fantasy wise. Another team that I wouldn't go near this time. I was just trying to make a joke about Man United, but I didn't know where I was going with that one because Bruno is great. He had another goal and another assist, and Cavani with 2 goals and an assist as well, and another assist for Rashford. So a big 3-2 win for United. Gash, what'd you think about that?
Oh, what a class game! I mean, Edinson Cavani comes in, scores as many headers as everyone else. He scored in 45 minutes 2 headers, and in the previous 2 seasons, the most number of headers scored by one player was 2. So it's pretty significant there. But just the fact that he's they have an actual striker to play around with in terms of his movement and his timing. If you watch the goals, I mean, those are just almost pure instincts. The way he moves and makes his runs. But in terms of fantasy takeaways, I would say that Bruno Fernandes once again doesn't blank away from home. So he's still yet to blank away from home since joining Man United back in last January. So he's proven to be a very reliable captain in those situations. And I know one of these weeks it's going to run out. So that's always in the back of the mind, but at least you have a pretty good shot if you're captaining him in an away game. But yeah, no. Otherwise, personally, I'm very, very happy, and I was screaming my lungs out when Cavani scored the winner.
Mm-hmm. Is Cavani fantasy relevant now?
No, because of rotation with Martial. Yeah.
What's his price again?
8 million.
5?
8 million.
Okay, but that puts him in the range with like Richarlison. I think I'd rather have Richarlison at that price point.
He's only like what 0.2, 0.3 more than DCL now. So
yeah, I'd definitely rather go DCL as well. I'd rather go. I'd rather
spend like
money, go to Werner. There's too many options in that range. But Bruno is solid. I didn't have him at the start of the season, but I brought him in like right time for this run, so I'm really happy with that. Past 3 weeks, 17, 11, and 10. Yeah, what can you say? This is one of the most reliable fantasy players at this point, I would say, since joining United.
My dude,
definitely a captain pick almost every week, and his price has risen to 10.9 at this point. But you know, he's putting up numbers that justify that for sure. Now that I have him in my team, I don't think I'm going to take him out probably for the rest of the year, bearing any injury or anything like that. But yeah, I love Bruno. Fantasy wise, I love Bruno.
Nah, it's too late. You said it.
No, I mean, I don't have a problem with him otherwise, except for all the penalties, you know. But they are good for my fantasy team. It is
What's he supposed to do? Miss him?
Yeah.
No. Now he's on my fantasy team.
Is Seymour frozen?
Yeah, I froze for like a second there. I was like, what the hell just happened?
Yeah, you're back. Okay. You have any thoughts on Bruno, Cavani, United?
Like I agree with Gasch. I don't think he's fantasy relevant. But if this was like the final 3-4 weeks of the season and you need a punt, like that's maybe a situation I'd bring Cavani in for. But outside of that, I think it's starting to become like increasingly clear that people's midfield should be pretty set in terms of having like a Salah, KDB, Fernandes.
Yeah.
Well, Bruno's price kind of makes it like seem like you have to have him and like a KDB or a Salah or even.
I think you're probably all three.
Yeah.
You could have 3 of the 2, but then you're kind of sacrificing elsewhere. Maybe sacrificing. You know, some people still have a premium striker, but I'm just saying like not to have Bruno right now. Or like before with his price, and even now still at 10.9, that's still like a great bargain. Like you know he's gonna be the guy for Man United every single week almost. Like KDB's not always gonna be the guy for Man City or like compared to like Mane, Salah for Liverpool. I feel like Bruno will be more of like the main guy for United compared to those guys for their respective teams.
Yeah. At this point, that's who you have to compare him with. I mean. Even since the start of the season, that's been his comparison. So with his price point being a good million lower than them, I don't see how you can justify not having him in your team at this point.
There's a chance I'm wrong on this, but I saw something. I think Bruno is the highest scoring player in FPL since he's joined.
Yeah, I think
from last January until now. I think I saw
that on Twitter somewhere, and that would make sense. Just
if he's not the highest, he's got to be top 3 or something.
Yeah,
who would even be close? Like KDB, maybe.
KDB, yeah, and Salah, I would guess.
I think maybe Joe Wellington's up there.
Salah had a quiet ending.
Yeah, so but I'm pretty sure Bruno is the highest scoring since he's joined.
So if you don't have Bruno in your team, what are you doing? Like, what's going on?
Come on.
I have 3 premium midfielders personally, but I could see if you want like a Vardy or when he comes back, getting Aguero up there. But 2 or 3 premium midfielders seems to be the move. Yeah. All right, let's move on to Chelsea Spurs, which on paper looked like it should have been an exciting match, but it wasn't. 0-0. A lot of yellow cards.
2 shit teams playing.
Yeah. So nothing really to comment on in terms of point scores there, but did anything worry you watching those games? I know we talked a little bit about I think we talked about being a little worried about Spurs assets coming up. Does this kind of double down? Let's go to the resident Spurs believer, the biggest Spurs believer on the podcast, C4. Not a Spurs fan, but kind of acts like it sometimes.
Yeah,
I know,
like a wanker.
relationship.
What are your thoughts on them right now?
This was kind of my read of what was going to happen. They're like into a bunch of outside of last week in terms of, obviously, I think they only ended up creating like 2 shots on target in City or something. I think it's going to be very low scoring, very low chances, and this is just going to be classic Mourinho trying to grind out the next, I would say, 4 games now in terms of just trying to get results. If you make it through, they have Arsenal, Crystal Palace, Liverpool, and Leicester. If you can make it out of those 4 games with, I would say, maybe 8 points, like you've done 8 or 9 points, I think you would take that.
What I would say as the man here who had Mourinho manage his club a few years back, unless he drastically changes his style, he's going to try to do exactly what he just did against Chelsea, against all these top teams in away games and probably even home games. We're just trying to grind out like a 1-0, maybe a 2-0 win. If they score 2 goals in the first half and they go into halftime, I can definitely see him and expect him to make some kind of defensive substitution and switch it around just to slow down the game and try to kill it off from there.
You think he'll even do that at the derby this weekend? I feel like he might come out pressing and attacking.
I think it depends on who's healthy, right?
Yeah, but what he likes to do is try to have teams that are defensively solid, and if he's going to go for it, he goes for it early on to try to kill off the game, and then once they have a 1 or 2 goal lead, he relies on his teams being really well drilled defensively to just hold the lead and lock it down.
And that'd be a good strategy against Arsenal because I think there's been 2 or 3 games now this season where they failed to register a single shot on target in the second half. They just, when they're down or not playing well, they just seem to totally fizzle out. So yeah, I could see that happening, unfortunately. Yeah. But in terms of Spurs assets these next 4 weeks, and then they got Wolves after that. Depends how Wolves are doing at that point. We know they can be solid defensively. So that's either 4 or 5 like difficult game weeks coming up. C4, did you get your Spurs players out? You still have anybody in? Do any of us have Spurs players in?
I still have so I got rid of Kane last week for Vardy, and then my kind of plan for this week was to get rid of Son for what's the name for KDB, but now it's looking more like I gotta take care of Jack Grealish or possibly Rashford, who is an injury doubt, but I don't think he's actually I think he's still gonna play. But I don't know, that nil tie kind of with Chelsea. I didn't really watch the game, so a little bit of the highlights. Even though like I still own Son, he didn't really produce, but at the same time, I've kind of like just tempted just to leave him for these next 4 games. I think it is a tough 5 games, but I feel like he's gonna return those weeks, and I have like kind of more underlying issues to deal with like Grealish not playing since the game got postponed, and then elsewhere I gotta change my team around.
Mm-hmm. You mentioned Rashford real quick. Just a note on him. Looks like 2 hours ago, the Manchester United website released an article saying it's a shoulder injury, and they're hoping he can be ready for the game, but we don't know. So it doesn't sound that serious, and it is the shoulder, which you don't use as much, obviously. So the way this article was written, it seems like they're feeling positive about it, but we'll see. Just want to throw that out there. And then De Gea, I don't know if anybody still has De Gea, but it looks like he might miss a while, right, Gash?
He played a full 90.
When?
Today.
Oh. Yeah, scratch that. I was just reading something about how this injury is the perfect time to make Henderson the whatever. Let's move on. Let's move on to Arsenal and Wolves. 2-1 win for Wolves. Goals from Podence and Neto. Assists from Dendoncker and Neto. And for Arsenal, Gabriel scored. I know some people have him defensively, and an assist for Willian. Like I mentioned before, Arsenal failed to register a single shot on target in the second half. Aubameyang continues to be totally non-existent. Aubameyang continues to be that. continues to play like a fart noise. Yeah, it's not good times at Arsenal for sure. Also, Raul Jimenez with that scary injury, the collision with David Luiz. He had surgery on a fractured skull, so I don't even know like the timetable for something like that. Could that be season ending?
Yeah, that could be pretty serious from what I've seen.
Yeah, I mean, it happened a few years ago to that defender. What Gary Cahill hit him. Do you remember? I don't remember his name, but he had to retire over the exact same injury.
Yeah,
he had to retire. So I don't even know if Jimenez can come back this year at all. I had him in my team like 2 weeks ago, transferred him out. But yeah, that was tough. That was pretty shitty. They didn't even show it on the broadcast the second time. Like the noise. I was looking away at Twitter for a second, and I heard the noise, and I looked up. It was wild. So yeah, if you have Jimenez, time to transfer him out and hope for the best for him. If you have any Arsenal attackers, not looking good at all. I don't know why you would still have Aubameyang at this point, but he's been non-existent. I know. Look, they have the derby coming up this weekend. There's potential to either turn it around and inject some good energy with a big win. But if they lose this weekend, it could just go even further downhill for Arsenal. So I think this next game week determines a lot. I think they can use it as a way to step back up if they win. But if they lose, it's going to be bad. So definitely stay away from Arsenal assets for now, and we'll see how they do this weekend. Any thoughts on Arsenal Wolves?
No, I think you covered it.
Okay. Moving on, Fulham with a 2-1 win over Leicester. Kind of surprising loss for Leicester. They had Vardy had an assist and a goal for Barnes. And on the other side, Lookman with a goal and Cavallero assists from Anguissa and De Cordova Reed. There we go. I don't know why I was struggling with those names so much. But, 2-1 win for Fulham. They looked okay. Nothing for Mitrovic yet again. So
Didn't even start.
Yeah, so if anybody has him still, like, I don't know why you would. Anybody else fantasy relevant? Fulham, not really, but Leicester. You guys were talking about Vardy. I know we have – who owns Vardy here?
I had him as captain for this week.
You had him as a captain. Same. So all three of you guys have Vardy. So how you guys feeling?
Sorry, I own him. I brought him in during the last game week, so I own him from like next game week on.
Why did you weren't – Why did you bring him in?
Let's discuss that afterwards. For me, at least, because I did kind of a crazy thing in FPL, so I'll explain that all at once.
Okay.
I didn't realize taking hits were a crazy thing now, but I took him because I thought he was the best alternative to Harry Kane for the next couple of game weeks. Originally, my plan was to take him and switch him over to Aguero this week, but it doesn't look like Sergio's ready yet, so I'm comfortable keeping him. I still think he has pretty good fixtures. Sheffield this weekend makes him look like another viable captain option. And then Brighton at home the week after is good too.
Are you still definitely bringing in is there anything that'll change your mind about bringing in Aguero right away?
I mean,
since he went down.
If Jesus nails on the starting job, I think
that's not happening so far.
I think Aguero's always going to be first choice when he's healthy. I think with how far behind the 8-ball Man City are in the league right now, that Pep will be pressured to make Sergio a part of the starting 11 as soon as possible.
Okay. Any final thoughts there? Let's move on to West Ham with a 2-1 win over Villa. For Villa, we had an assist from Gasch and a goal from Grealish. On the other side, West Ham had goals from Bowen and Agbana. I'm bad with these names today. An assist from Bowen and Benrahma. Penalty missed for Watkins on Villa. I brought him in right before last week, so that was not what I wanted to see. But a goal for Grealish. I brought him in as well. Any thoughts on that game?
Tomo, I'm sure you have an unlimited amount of transfers. It seems like you always bring someone in 3 times a game week.
What do you mean?
I know, it's always I brought in Fernandes this week, I brought in Mane and Salah, I brought in Rashford, I brought in Watkins and Grealish. I don't know, man. How many?
Yeah. So the thing is, I have unlimited transfers, basically. No, the thing is, I have a really bad sense of time with COVID still. Like I just don't know which week I brought in who, but I make a transfer like every week pretty much. So there you go.
Nice.
I've only taken one hit this year, and it was last week to bring in Watkins. So really great.
Nice
result there. Love to see it. Yeah, so let's talk about the postponed game. That wraps it up for all the recaps for this past game. But let's talk about the postponed game and what are we doing with the Villa assets? Tazz, since you brought that up in the private chat just now, do you want to start us off with that topic?
Well, I was hoping to listen to what you guys had to say. And
I wanted advice. That's why.
Yeah, I don't really want to use too much brain power in this now. But
yeah,
I don't know. I have both Martinez, and he's my starting keeper, and I have Grealish, and then my backup is also the backup to keeper. My backup keeper is Villa's backup keeper. So I don't have any keeper to play unless I transfer him out. And I don't really want to waste the transfer on the keeper, so I'm just going to get 0 points for my keeper this weekend. But then Grealish is kind of an interesting thing. I kind of originally planning on to bringing in KDB or Mane, whichever one this week for like Son or Rashford. But now kind of have to deal with Grealish, having that many players not play for me. And then my bench is not viable enough to bring in more points. And I kind of I've been gaining some momentum in our mini league, and I don't want to lose the momentum. So I think I'm gonna transfer Grealish. As for who, I haven't decided yet. It's a lot of options. I can go for downgrade him to a lower price midfielder that can enable me to like later on bring in like Mane and KDB both in my team. So that's kind of something that I'm considering. But at the same time, I just haven't really decided. But I think my step is to transfer Grealish out. The only way I wouldn't is 7.4 million for him is not the biggest thing. If you bench him, if like people have him on the team that already made transfers, like I wouldn't transfer him out. But if you have that free transfer and you kind of you don't want to fall behind, then I would transfer him out, even if it's for just 1 week.
It's tough. Like if I have him as well, so like what I'm thinking is like if I want to transfer him out, I would want to transfer him right back in. So that's because they still have Wolves, Burnley, West Brom, and Palace coming up. I think I might just have to take the L and take the 0 points from either him or Watkins because I have both of them. Maybe I'll do like a 1 week punt with one of them, but it's tough. Yeah. Gash, are you dealing with this? You have any?
Oh, I'm dealing with this all right. So a little bit of background for you gents and ladies listening out there. I have 3 Aston Villa players. I have Grealish, McGinn, and Target. So doing really well beforehand. But now what I had, Saturday rolls around and I'm looking at the price rise predictor and it's like, KDB is going to go up in price, but I really wanted him in my team. So I did some toying around and I realized that I had the exact cash on Saturday before the price rise to do DCL, Kane, and Son to KDB, Bamford, and Vardy. So you know what? I was like, whatever, man. Like I'm not doing too hot this season. I got to start, I don't have to start taking punts, but like at least this will bring back a little bit of enjoyment to FPL for me. So I pulled the trigger. I did that -8, so that didn't feel good. And now, I get the news that Villa's not playing this game week, and I have 3 Aston Villa players. So what I'm thinking is I'm kind of fucked for that, and I don't really want to take another hit, so I'm just going to use my 3 bench slots, 3 Villa players, boom, 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 easy done.
This is where the bench comes in handy. This is where the bench
absolutely.
Does it look like your whole bench is going to play?
It's the only one I'm not sure about is Kilman because he had been starting for a couple of weeks.
Is who? Sorry, you.
Max Kilman.
Okay.
Yeah, he had been starting, for a couple of weeks consistently, and then, like I said before, he didn't start last week, but came on for a 12-minute cameo. So I'm hoping he comes back in this upcoming week, but we'll see because Wolves' shape might change because of the Jimenez injury, and they haven't been doing too hot with the 3/5 at the back. So they're saying Nuno might play, start a 4 at the back. So I don't know as of right now.
And even if he does play, that's a tough matchup. Liverpool away.
Yeah, I'd say probably suboptimal would be the word I'd use for it.
When are fans coming back?
Isn't it next week?
Is it this upcoming week or the one after?
I customer December 5th or 6th, so this weekend.
If it's the first game with fans back at Liverpool, they're going to bring some sort of atmosphere. Then that's not an ideal situation.
No, not at all. So, long story short, I am not planning to transfer out any Villa assets this week.
Any Grillo players?
Yeah, and well, that Jack Grealish is basically the club at the moment.
And to think you did this all just to put a little joy back in FPL for yourself.
Yeah, but I mean, now I'm happy. Now I have no idea if I should captain KDB, captain Bruno, captain Vardy. So I can't wait to make the wrong decision and be sad again.
Yeah, there's a lot of good options this week. Well, I'll have to go through that. C4.
So I have Target and Lewis and Watkins. So right now I don't have enough defenders to play a back line. Bernardo at the 5th sub is not working out for me.
Oh, like I told you, right?
Yeah, where are you in the standings?
Well, I was right about that. So
broken clock is right twice a day. So I have 2 transfers though.
Okay.
But here's my thinking: either this game is going to happen Wednesday next week as a part of this game week, or it's going to happen Wednesday as a part of next game week. So
They haven't announced that yet?
No.
That feels like a decision they should make pretty soon.
It feels like it might happen tomorrow. So I'm going to say that I'm not going to do anything until tomorrow.
Until the decision.
Yeah, because, if Aston Villa all of a sudden has a double game week next week, then I kind of want Watkins.
Then I'm not touching Watkins or Grealish.
Yeah.
I would want, but then that's probably where I would do a 1 week punt on one of them, or away from one of them, because a double game week. So that would be a double game week with
Wolves
and Burnley.
No,
Not
Wolves
bad.
Newcastle.
Okay, right. Okay, so
And
Wolves Newcastle.
We don't know who has COVID on Newcastle. Can you imagine if it's like Lascelles, Darlow, ASM, and Callum Wilson? Like that could be a shit show.
You just cherry picked all the best players, but that would suck if they lost only their best player. Yeah, that would be rough. Yeah, but that could be a really, really sweet matchup. That could be a nice time to use like a Grealish captain or Grealish triple captain.
Tazz.
Still saving mine. We'll see when I use it.
Would you do a triple captain for that double game week?
For Grealish? No, probably not.
Pussy.
Oh yeah. Would you captain? Would you triple captain Salah?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you got so much balls in you, bro.
That was that game week 1 captain, right?
Yeah, that's balls.
Tazz, you have one more thing you want to say?
Yeah, I was gonna say it's funny because this is what Gasch has been kind of in the beginning of the season preaching about saving that wild card for like later in the season with the COVID outbreaks, and now that we finally have one happening, I'm pretty sure all of us have used our wild card already, right?
Yep.
So I guess it'd be nice to have it for now, but I kind of totally kind of forgot until just recently that we also have a free hit chip that I don't think I'm tempted enough to use it with there's just one COVID outbreak and it's only Villa and Newcastle. They're not pretty damn like substantial of a team. If it was like Liverpool or Man City and I had like a couple of their players, I would definitely consider using a free hit because then there's just a lot of money in those assets usually with like Salah and Mane and KDB and stuff like that tied up in. So, but that is an option. And was anybody else tempted to use their free hit for this, or that just might as well just take the free? Might as well take the hit of 0 points from the assets.
Yeah, I was just going to say I personally am not thinking about taking a free hit because I lose. So one of the worst case scenarios probably like having 3 of the players that are not playing. And I think that I could gain more by using a free hit later in the season for like a game week with multiple blanks or doubles or whatever than I would gain by just using it now to cover for that. So that's my perspective personally.
Yeah, I only have 2, so not as bad of a situation. And I kind of feel like they're both lower priced players. Watkins is at 6, or is he not even at 6? Yeah, Watkins is at 6-1 and Grealish is at
7-7 or something.
7-7. Yeah. So like I wouldn't feel awful about leaving one of those on the bench just for 1 week. I feel like I could make up for it and use a free hit better somewhere down the line, and kind of want to keep it in my back pocket, like you said, in case there is, because right now I have 2 Liverpool players, for example, and I might go up to 3 at a point. And if I would definitely rather use it then. You know what I mean? I feel like I could do like a 1 week switch of Grealish to Watkins and then bring him right back in, and that's how I'll deal with it. I don't want to waste that free hit yet because I already wasted my wild card. So definitely want to have that free hit in my back pocket. And I didn't expect there to be a COVID outbreak all year. Like, I just felt like the Prem handled it really well, like last year when it was more at its peak. So like I just wasn't expecting it to happen. Now that it happened, I'm worried it could happen again. So I definitely want to have that free hit in my back pocket in case it's like a worse situation than this one. C4, are you? What do you think?
Like I said, I'll wait until it happens, basically until the last second before the deadline. Just have as much information on the situation as possible.
Yeah.
But worst case scenario, I'm not using any chip or hit or transfers just to cover for 1 game week.
Yeah. Yeah. I actually think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do Grealish to someone. Because I also have...
So I will say, are you guys familiar with Ben Cullen? He does a lot. He's on Twitter. He does a lot with the scheduling for the Premier League. I don't know if he works somewhere or just a lot of information. But he's saying that it's more likely. He thinks it's more likely that the game won't be played this game. Later.
Did everybody hear that okay? Gash came like really muffled on my end.
Yeah, same thing for me.
Is it muffled right now?
Now you're good. Just repeat that whole sentence.
Is this better?
Yeah.
Yeah, way better.
Okay, that's weird. Ben Crellin is a dude who's on Twitter. I don't know if he works in the Premier League or like something, but he has some kind of like inside information on scheduling the games, and he's saying he thinks it's more likely that the game is made up sometime later in the season rather than next week or so. So just and he's pretty spot on usually. So it's just some additional information.
Yeah, I'm looking. He's got 72,000 followers. Not that we should be judging somebody's reliability based on followers, but like that means something. He's not just like some bum like making a claim. So he said it would be later on in the season. They wouldn't rush to do it.
He said it's more likely to be later on in the season.
And I see like all he does is post like spreadsheets and get super into
transfer planners and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. So I trust him. The 72,000 followers helps.
There you go.
But yeah. Okay. So that's something important to keep in mind. All right. Anything else, or should we move on to captain picks?
Good.
Or let's add one more thing to that Villa discussion. Like, if you have Grealish or Watkins, like, who's somebody that you can target as a 1 week punt? So basically, help me make my decision for this weekend, please.
Isn't that what this whole podcast is?
What?
Nothing.
Isn't that what this one? Yeah, that's. I come into these unprepared, and I just learn from you guys, and I make my decisions right after.
If you want a 1 week punt for Grealish, I think Harvey Barnes might be a decent shout.
Yeah,
he looks pretty solid, and Leicester have Sheffield this week, so that could be a good spot to fill in there.
He's at 6.9 right now, so you would be fine money wise.
Yep.
Now, what if you had like 0.6 in the bank? Then what would you do?
I'd probably take like a minus 56 hit or something like that.
I actually think I can go to. I think I can afford going to one of the Chelsea assets. Can I? What's Ziyech at right now?
8.2 or 8.3?
8.3
So Pulisic is 8.2 then.
Is Pulisic 8.2?
Yeah, Pulisic is 8.2.
Yeah, Pulisic is 8.2. Is he's good to play, right?
He started.
They're going up against Leeds.
Yeah.
Started today. So I don't know. Did he get subbed off, C4? Do you know? Or did he?
Yeah. Him and Havertz both started and both got subbed off in the 60 to 70 minute range.
Okay, so he's. I'd say he's in contention to start for the weekend then.
And he only played 16 against Spurs, 16 minutes.
So he's coming back. Yeah.
So maybe I'll do that as my 1 week punt. There's worse 1 week punts than Christian Pulisic.
And I mean, that's not even necessarily a 1 week punt. I mean, if he performs, you can always keep him in and if Grealish stops performing, then that's a consideration also.
Yeah. I just like Grealish's schedule these next few weeks. What's Chelsea's schedule looking like these next few weeks? They've got Leeds, Everton, Wolves, West Ham. Okay, so a bunch of threes on the match difficulty chart.
Yeah, and then Arsenal away, so it's like a 0 pretty much.
Another popular thing I've seen online is Diego Jota for Grealish.
Yeah, definitely.
I like that.
That's the one that I'm kind of if I don't take like on a 1 week plan and bring in back Grealish, if I for like my long term kind of plan of like transferring more of like premium midfield assets, then I think that's the guy I'm gonna go for in Jota for to free up some funds, because that was saving like 0.7 million.
If everyone's healthy at Liverpool, does Jota play? Does he start?
I think
if you got Salah and Mane, but where do you fit him in? If you got Salah, Mane, Bobby, where and then behind them you got Henderson, like where do you fit him in?
No, if everyone's healthy, I don't think he's starting.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
He might be starting, midweek games or something.
He's in the rotation. He'll be like a super sub, like.
I think he'll come in pretty consistently to give them rest, and I think he'll start in some, if they have a Champions League game where it's kind of like a rotational squad. But I mean, the group stage is almost over. I think Liverpool have confirmed their place in the next round, so he might start in their last group game, and then from there on out, it's the knockout stages. So actually, he might not even be starting those. But I think he'll come on pretty consistently. But in all fairness, he has been performing when he does come on for the last 30 minutes of games even. So it's not too terrible.
He came on for 20 minutes with West Ham and picked up 8 points. Let's see. Came on for 10 minutes against Arsenal, picked up 6 points. So he does have a little bit of a run of doing that. But he has been playing like the full 90 or pretty much recently. Yeah, I think they have to find a way to get him some minutes. But it's a question
I could see if if he keeps going for even a longer span of time, then one of the front three, probably Firmino, just because Salah and Mane are a little bit more undroppable. I could see him filling in that role. And Firmino does play an important role tactically, but as long as Jota can do the same thing, then why would you not pick the better performing player?
Can Jota do the same thing though? Because I know Klopp, just last year, said that Firmino's his most important player.
Yeah, I think it might be. I think he's very important to the Liverpool team, but I think that it also has shades of when Pep said that Foden is the most talented player he's ever coached.
You think it was just a little pick me up for Firmino?
I know. I think there's truth in there, but I think he's exaggerating a little bit.
And can Jota play that same role? You think?
I think so, based on what I've seen of him.
I think also Klopp's gonna be a little bit more pressure to rotate his players a lot more now that half his defense is injured. So you kind of seen even the past couple of games, yes, maybe because of Salah's COVID case, but still him and Minamino have been Jota and Minamino have been played way more minutes. So
I do know. Sorry, I know also that United are playing 2 games a week for the next 8 weeks or something like that. So I'm pretty sure Liverpool have essentially the same schedule with the Champions League, the Premier League, and then the cups in England. So I mean, there's got to be rotation coming, and he's the first. He's the 12th man.
But then the question comes down to if you think is his rotation? Is he gonna start a full 90 in the Premier League or in the cup game or the Champions League?
Right.
Because cup game and Champions League game are relevant to us right now in terms of
it depends. It depends, but he does also have that super sub ability.
Mm-hmm.
He does. Super sub ability, where it might be worth having him in. What's his price at right now? 6.9. So that's a little high just as a super sub. It kind of depends how your team is structured.
Mm.
But he's like you said, Gash, and like we looked up, he's succeeded at that. I don't know. I think Klopp's got to find a way to play, and that's a good point too about the injuries. That probably scared Klopp into rotating a little more. You can't totally blame the injuries on that, but it's probably a factor with the shortened off season and the weirdness of the COVID world, and that's probably contributed. So that's a good point. So maybe Jota is an option for some. Anybody else? So we got Barnes, we got Jota. If you have a little more money, you can go to one of the Chelsea guys. Any other options to fill in for Grealish there around that range? I think we pretty much covered like the main ones. Who would be interesting?
Mm-hmm.
You can go James Rodriguez if you wanted. They're playing Burnley. That's not an awful matchup. He's been a little off the last 5 or 6 game weeks though. That can't go on forever, right?
Yeah, I think if you're going James, it's much more of a 1 week punt in my mind at least, because
Right.
Everton they have Burnley, and then the next 5 after that are Chelsea, Leicester, Arsenal, Sheffield, and Man City. So a pretty tough run.
Yeah. That I was talking about as a 1 week punt, but yeah, a good point to make that clear. Okay. Any final thoughts? What if you want to, real quick, if you want to sub out Watkins, I guess you can go to
Bamford,
Che Adams.
As much as I don't want to say it, Che Adams, the bastard, is in that price range also.
Let's see. Anybody else? Maupay's in that price range, but he's got a little knock and he just missed a penalty and he sucks. So maybe
and he gets rotated too.
Yeah, I
Adams
think that's
is actually a
pretty much
pretty
it.
solid shout.
I like Che Adams. Yeah, I have him already though. So
Thank God he didn't score against Man United this weekend. I would have lost my mind.
you can go Antonio from West Ham,
Ooh.
but that's kind of a tough matchup against United. But he did well against Arsenal. He totally controlled their side of the game. I felt like.
I would say Antonio is not. He's less of a 1 week punt and more of a, someone you want to keep in longer term.
Yeah,
because they're, like you said, their matchup isn't that great this week. But if he keeps that starting spot over Haller, then he scores when he's on. And West Ham have been looking pretty decent offensively. So
he's been out of form though. 1 point since game week 6 when
he was hurt.
Well, right. Okay. Yeah. 0 minutes played. So he just came back and played 45 last week. Okay. I like Antonio as an option as well. All right. So that pretty much covers it. Or Joe Linton if you really have balls and
and a triple captainship.
Or they're not playing. Right. They're not playing. Okay. So don't go for him. All right. So let's talk about our captain picks. Right. Anything else you want to add? All right. There's a lot of good captain options this week. A lot of them, actually. Let's see who we got. You can go De Bruyne against Fulham. You can go Mane or Salah against Wolves. You can go Fernandes against West Ham. You can go – who else?
Vardy against Sheffield.
You can go Vardy against Sheffield. I think that's probably all the main ones there. So, C4, you want to start us off? Who are you going with?
I don't know. The last couple of minutes I've been being quiet. I almost talked myself into bringing in Jesus this week.
Maybe we should leave support to being quiet more often.
Do it.
I mean, against Fulham.
Yeah, but I think going into this game week, it's either De Bruyne or Vardy. And if you had to ask me right now, it'd probably be De Bruyne.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Gash?
I'm going with my man. I think I'm going with my man, Bruno Fernandes. For me, it's between. I have, I have my plethora of captain picks I can choose from, mostly to confuse myself. But I'm just going with my gut and sticking it on Bruno. And if I were to change it, it would probably be to KDB.
Okay. I'm in the exact same boat as you, so I'll just hop in and say that. And Tazz, what about you?
If I had KDB, I'd probably captain him against Fulham, but I don't, and I don't think I'm going to transfer him in, and I don't want to take the hit since I got to deal with Grealish. So my options are between Bruno and Vardy, and I'm leaning more towards captain Bruno.
Yeah, I mean, West Ham have looked okay, but
Bruno has
he's just on fire. Bruno's Bruno. He's just on fire. I don't know. If he's always involved. Like, he's the only... He kind of plays that De Bruyne role for them. He's very, very involved in everything they do. Assists, goals, penalties. Is he on set pieces too? Sometimes.
No, I mean, Tellers will take the corners now since he's playing. Bruno might take a free kick, yeah, depending on who else is on the field.
So, great option, Bruno. Okay, that's captain picks. Anything else?
Yeah, wraps it up.
We have any fan questions? No.
We have a question for the fans. Why aren't you sending us any damn questions?
Yeah, I don't think we've had a fan question since game week 2 or 3. We started off really hot.
And we know for a fact we have a lot of fans, so it's got to be that you guys aren't sending us any questions.
According to Anchor, we have at least 18 listeners, so there should be 18 questions every week.
So show yourselves.
We also set up a voicemail box. You can leave us a message with your voice, and we can play your voice on the podcast. You can even make fun of us, whatever. Just call us. Give us some extra content to put at the end of the episodes here.
Yeah.
All right. So enjoy your game weeks, everybody. What's the deadline this week?
They changed it to Saturday.
It's a Saturday morning deadline.
If you tell Tomo Friday, he actually said it in time. But if you tell him Saturday,
I'm gonna set my lineup right now. I think actually before any more price points mess me up here. Yeah. So besides that, enjoy your week, everybody. Hope you guys all score less than me because I'm falling behind in the standings. Real quick, should we announce the standings for the FPL Hotline League, just like the top 5? Yep, let's do it. First place is 2 girls, 1 clop. Second place is Werner Bros. Third place is I Smell Poo Nani. Fourth place is C4 United. And fifth place is Grealish FC. And just for shits and giggles here, in 25th place is Tazz, the Tasmanian Devils.
Oh, we're doing this.
In 35th place is FC Tomo. Rough week. And then in 44th place is Gasch United.
44. Obama.
45 team.
And we'll just for fun, the last place team in our settings right now is Dodo. The team name is Dodo.
It's correct.
Let's check out. They still got Obama in. Yeah, this doesn't. Are they setting their lineup though?
No, it's a zombie team.
Yeah. No, they are setting their lineup. So Dodo, good luck to you.
Really?
Well done for continuing to set your lineup despite being on 296 points for the year.
Don't compliment them. It's not well done.
a full 90 points behind 75th place.
Oh God!
And then like 120 points behind 74th place. So pretty set in that.
Okay, no. You have to, in game week 8, this guy took a negative 48 hit.
There's a wild card, dude.
Do you think they tried to use the wild card and then?
No, because game week 5, he took a negative 52 hit.
Wait,
we would have to explain the rules of FPL with Dodo.
I think he needs to watch our episode 1 again. You know.
Hey, the week he took that negative 52, he scored 87 and he used his bench boost. So that's something.
Yeah, that's impressive.
That's his high score for the year. So was it worth it?
Yes.
Yeah. So Dodo, if you're listening, listen a little closer and really pay attention to what we're saying here. We can help you out. Besides that, I hope everybody has a good week. And yeah, we'll talk to you guys soon. Oh, and follow us on Twitter and Instagram at FPL Hotline. All right, peace.
Bye.